Hello. Today, we have compiled a list of airliner accidents that remain in world history. Accidents occur with extremely low probability, and they lead to major disasters. It doesn't happen very often, and it's also something that can't be easily witnessed. You can see how airliners crash, and what causes them in this video. We can see just how great the role of a pilot can be through this video. All videos have been re-implemented based on real events. Please note that most of them are computer graphics. San Francisco International Airport in 2013. An Asiana Airlines passenger plane crashed into a breakwater in front of the runway while landing at San Francisco International Airport. 3 Chinese passengers were killed, and more than 100 injured. The cause of the accident was said to be the pilot's negligence for setting the altitude too low. Tinosuna Airport in 2011. A charter plane carrying a professional ice hockey team crashed after overrunning the runway at Tinosuna Airport and crashing into an antenna. All but one of the 45 people on board died. President Dmitry Medvedev offered his condolences to the victims and his relatives. The plane carrying 10 passengers and 2 crew members crashed while trying to land at Cork Airport in foggy conditions, killing 6 people, including 2 pilots. It is the largest airport in the United States by area, and the 3rd largest in the world. Airport officials also say that the airport's large footprint is home to the highest number of bird strikes in the United States. The plane, en route to Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport, crashed while taking off from Denver, seriously injuring 2 people. I'm so glad it ended without any major casualties. During landing at Adesunshipto International Airport, it overturned the runway and crashed into a rice field, killing 20 passengers and 1 crew member. The captain attempted to land at the international airport, ignoring the co-pilot and warning, while making a sudden descent and speeding. In 2008, the captain was charged with murder and sentenced to 7 years in prison, but was acquitted on appeal in 2009. Disqualified from his pilot after the accident and fired from Garuda Indonesia. The Delta Airlines in question took off from JFK Airport with one wheel folded right after takeoff. The pilot, who sensed the problem, judged that normal flight was impossible, turned back to JFK Airport and started emptying fuel in the air for a whopping 3 hours. One passenger described the situation at the time. As the plane started spinning around the airport, passengers began to murmur when they realized something was wrong. The pilot eventually decided to attempt an emergency landing without the front wheel, and fortunately made an emergency landing without any major accidents. It was broadcast live throughout the United States that day, and the airfield was in a state of emergency. It was a dizzying moment that almost could lead to a major accident, but with the experienced guide of the veteran pilot, all passengers on board were not injured. A 110-person flight to Denmark collided with a French jet carrying 4 people during takeoff, killing all 114 people aboard both aircraft and 4 people on the ground. Subsequent investigation revealed that the crash was due to non-compliance with several safety systems, standards, and procedures at the airport. While the plane was moving from the taxiway to the runway, a pilot mistakenly attempted to take off from an unused runway, and an accident occurred when it collided with heavy equipment. Of the 179 people on board, 83 were killed, and 71 were injured. Singapore Airlines used to be known as the safest and never-failing airline in the world, but the accident broke the accident-free record. The Concorde airliner, which was bound for New York at the time of the crash, crashed into a hotel near Charles de Gaulle Airport, on the outskirts of Paris, 2 minutes after takeoff, spitting smoke and flames from its engines. A total of 113 people were killed in this accident, including all 109 people on board, and 4 people on the ground. A Boeing 747 freighter crashed into a Dutch apartment after engine failure, killing 43 people, including the crew and those in private homes. The mayor of Amsterdam said at the time that more than 240 people were missing. The plane was a cargo plane carrying various weapons such as fighter parts and missiles to Israel. Perhaps it was because of the possibility of terrorism in the Middle East as the cause of the accident. Afterwards, Boeing revised the engine design of the 747 and replaced all fuse pins with new ones. At the time, a British Boeing 737 carrying 133 people was scheduled to take off from Manchester Airport and go to Corfu Airport in Greece. Most of the passengers were vacationers, and the captain was training the first co-pilot. A fire broke out before takeoff due to engine failure, eventually killing 55 people. Two Boeing 747s collided on the ground at Los Rodeos Airport, killing 583 people on board. One reason is that the KLM aircraft misunderstood that the takeoff permission was obtained from the traffic controller and began to take off, eventually mobilizing with the pan-ship aircraft. Another reason is that the runway is foggy and the visibility is short, and there were no ground radars at the airport at the time. A Boeing 737, which had both engines damaged by hail from the typhoon, flew without power and attempted to land. Landing on a riverbank where the ground condition is unknown even in clear weather is very unlikely to succeed. Even though visibility cannot be secured in strong winds and bad weather of typhoons, the captain landed passengers safely without losing the level of the aircraft. On this day, all passengers expressed their gratitude to the captain, and the captain was honored as a national hero. Thank you for watching.